Police, search warrant.
FBI agents armed with a search warrant swarmed the Florida home of Brian Laundrie's parents Monday after finding a body believed to be missing 22-year-old Gabby Petito over the weekend. Petito went missing on a cross-country road trip with her boyfriend Brian Laundrie, seen here in video released by Utah police after the couple was pulled over on August 12th following a report of a domestic dispute. No charges were filed. Laundrie, named a person of interest in the case, has not been seen since leaving his family's home in Northport last Tuesday. Before disappearing, Laundrie refused to speak with investigators and retained a lawyer. Police said the search for Laundrie had shifted away from the Carlton Reserve, a vast natural area near Laundrie's home. His family said they believed he entered the area last week, according to police. Police now say they've exhausted that search and are continuing to look for the 23-year-old. An FBI spokesman said on Sunday a body consistent with Laundrie's fiance Gabby Petito was found near the Spread Creek Dispersed Campground in Wyoming. It's a case that has transfixed America, garnering headlines nationwide after Petito's family reported her missing on September 11th, 10 days after Laundrie returned home from a months-long cross-country trip in the van without her. The couple set out on their road trip in June with a plan to visit national parks and document their journey on social media.
Immerse yourself in whiskey. That's pretty much the requirement when entering Great Jones Distilling Company, Manhattan's first whiskey distillery in 100 years. The 28,000 square foot complex was 6 years in the making and faced many obstacles along the way, including just finding the property itself, says project manager Andrew Marinoff.
In order to understand what distilling is in New York City, you have to understand the zoning that it takes to be in a distillery. So we're in an M15 zone in which there are only 122 buildings in New York City that allow that operation. We know that because we saw every single one of them.
At the heart of Great Jones, where the magic happens, a 500-gallon pot or still where the whiskey is distilled, or simply put, where a harder alcohol is made from a lower alcohol base. But while having that much alcohol in the middle of a 4-story New York City building may seem dicey, Marinoff says not to worry.
And the room that this still is encased in is completely explosion-proof. The air can be sucked out of it in 90 seconds, making it one of the safest distilling rooms in the world.
Great Jones is Manhattan's first whiskey distillery since the days of Prohibition, when the sale of alcohol was outlawed across the U.S. It's the brainchild of Juan Domingo Beckman, who, despite coming from the family that owns Jose Cuervo Tequila, is tapping into the recent whiskey craze, with bourbon, in particular, surging in popularity. The distillery includes a cocktail bar, restaurant, event space, and, of course, a speakeasy.
Thank you so much. You guys hold right there, guys, right there. Thank you so much. Take care. Thanks for everything.
I thought you took it with you. Thank you. Thank you.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his rival, Conservative leader Aaron O'Toole, cast their ballots Monday in what final polls show as a tight election race. Opinion polls show Trudeau may cling to power, but he looks set to lose what he ultimately hoped for, a parliamentary majority. More power than his current minority government, which forces Trudeau to make policy compromises to govern and to seek other parties' support to pass legislation. It's been a tough campaign for Trudeau, who was once seen far ahead in the polls. The Prime Minister triggered the election 2 years early, saying voters needed to weigh in on his left-of-center Liberal government's handling of COVID-19.
the choices that leaders make in a crisis matter. Half measures won't do to fight this pandemic.
But unhappiness about a snap election grew, and Liberal strategists now say it will be hard to win most of the 338 seats in the House of Commons.
Well, look, standing up for Canada's interests is...
In recent days, 49-year-old Trudeau, whose government racked up record debt fighting COVID, focused on the need for everyone to get inoculated. Trudeau backs vaccine mandates, while his main rival O'Toole prefers rapid testing.
Mr. Trudeau called an election that's costing us $600 million rather than keeping the Delta variant from spreading, rather than actually working together.
If Trudeau's party does fall short of a majority, it would represent a defeat that is certain to raise questions about his future.
Jen, a follow-up question on Haiti. There are photographs and reports of border agents on horseback using what appear to be whips on Haitian migrants. Does the administration view that as an appropriate tactic? Can you speak to that? There are people who are upset about it.
Yeah, understandably so. I've seen some of the footage. I don't have the full context. I can't imagine what context would make that appropriate, but I don't have additional details. And certainly, I don't have additional context. April, I don't think anyone seeing that footage would think it was acceptable or appropriate.
I want to follow up on the question about Haitians and it's specifically these photos that are surfacing on Border Patrol agents seemingly using whips. I know you said that there's no context that it would be seen as inappropriate, so the question really is, why would this be happening under the Biden administration? Is this going to stop? What would I wonder sort of what are going to be the consequences if what we're seeing is what we're seeing?
I mean, Yamiche, it's all good questions. We just saw this footage. It's horrible to watch. I just have to get more information on it. Again, April, I don't have more information on it. I've also seen the video. I can't imagine what the scenario is where that would be appropriate. I'm certainly not suggesting that, but we've just seen the footage earlier this morning.
On the photo, I know you said that you're still assessing it, but just to add, if this is what we see, is it the president's stance or the White House's stance that whoever these border agents are using what seems to be whips on migrants, that they would be fired or at least never be able to do that again?
Of course they should never be able to do it again. I don't know what the circumstances would be. It's obviously horrific, the footage. I don't have any more information on it, so let me venture to do that and we'll see if there's more to convey.